What we do here at the Web Science Institute is try to coordinate students and staff across a dozen different intellectual backgrounds and disciplines to focus their laser intelligence on this one kind of activity. What we've got is a whole crop of really interesting, really valuable PhD students who've turned into professional researchers and directors of companies, who are doing amazing and incredible things from a new understanding. And it's partly that we're starting to see. And it's that I'm very excited about.
Hello and welcome to Web and Internet Science at Southampton University. My name's Joanna Walker and I'm a PhD researcher in the Centre for Doctoral Training for Web Science at Southampton. I'm studying open data, that is, the use of data that anybody can use for any legal purpose. And I'm looking at how we organise for the most effective use of open data for economic benefit. As part of that, I've actually become interested in how we, as citizens, can engage with and understand data in an increasingly data-driven world. Let's go and talk to some other people about their research. Oh. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name and what do you research?
So my name is Nawar Halabi. I'm from Syria. I do speech technologies and specifically speech synthesis. My research is about corpus design for low resource languages such as Arabic. And we've so far built a speech corpus which other researchers can use, and they are already using it. We've also built a commercial application out of it, which is a speech synthesizer, which we are currently selling.
That sounds amazing. And why is this something we really need to work on?
There's several aspects to this. So one obvious reason is disabilities and disabled people who need this application to be to access the web, for example. But there's also more obvious and direct reasons, such as announcers or other researchers in the field who would really use this, who need this data, and it's not easy to make. And as a PhD student would waste a lot of time to make it from scratch. So we made it for them and they're using it at the moment.
That sounds brilliant. Thanks ever so much for sharing your research with us today. Good luck.
Cheers.
Okay, onwards and upwards. I think we'll find someone in here. Hi.
Hi.
Who are you and what's your research about?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sophie and I'm in my third year of my PhD, and I'm looking into how the emergency responders, such as the fire, ambulance, police, environment agency, are using social media for emergency communications.
That sounds absolutely fascinating. Why did you get interested in that? Why do we need to know about that?
Well, I think it's a really important subject. I think it's really critical, and the responders are using social media, are starting to adopt it. But actually, who are they actually reaching and who is actually listening? They have such a critical job, and we need to work out, is it actually worthwhile their time?
That sounds incredibly valuable. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sophie.
Thank you.
So that's two really different projects we've heard about so far. Let's see what else we can find. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Who are you and what's your research about?
I'm Rafael and come from Ecuador. I'm looking at the values exchange process on the web.
That sounds really interesting. And why is this an important thing for you to research?
Because I want to understand if the web is a global structure that delivers global values, or it's a structure that underpins the local values of people.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Okay, onwards. Hi.
Hello.
Can we ask who you are
Yes.
and what your research is about?
Hi, my research is about the impact of MOOCs in universities, of massive open online courses, and how they provide opportunities and challenges for the professional development of people working inside the universities.
And why do you think this is something we need to know about at this point in time?
Well, these kind of open online courses have gained a lot of prominence in the current education arena, and also in the web. So they are they have a very important web presence. So I think it's important to see how academics and educators are adapting to these the new forms of teaching and delivering educational content.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And onwards. Hi. Who are you? And can you tell us about your research?
Oh yeah, my name is Belfit Victor Batlajiri from Indonesia. I'm a second-year PhD student in University of Southampton in a WISE group. My research is about food provenance. Yeah, so the idea is to have provenance in food, so we can identify where the high contaminations is in food supply chain. So we cover it with a provenance. So if we have any information about the history of the food, then we can apply some analytical method and to identify where the contaminations might come from. Yeah.
And is contamination in the supply chain a big issue at the moment?
If you remember, we had a problem of a horse meat scandal a couple of years ago. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Wouldn't it be great if we can predict whether the horse meat scandal can happen again in the future? If we can predict that, well, it's really important. It's really good to prevent that event accident happen again. So that's the idea of this research.
Well, good luck with that. We're all looking forward to your results.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. I think we have a couple more people to see.
My name is Dola Majakutumi, and I'm in the second year of my PhD at the Web Science Doctoral Training Center at the University of Southampton. I'm looking into the use of social media in the banking industry, so specifically using social media for banking processes such as bill payments, account openings, funds transfer, and I'm looking at what the attitudes of customers are to this form of banking. If you look at banking, we've come from traditional banking, going into the banking halls, into forms of banking such as internet banking, mobile banking, and to even more specialized forms of banking using bitcoins, blockchains, and things like that. But why I'm really fascinated about this is because with internet banking and mobile banking, whatever details you give to the bank is what they have. So you would actually go onto their website, enter your logon details and things like that, and you can check your account. But with social media banking, you would have to give your bank access to your social media network. And this brings altogether a new dimension. Things like privacy, what do the banks do with your networks, what do they do with the things you post? They've got access to so much more. So these are the kind of things I'm looking at.
Hi, my name's Jack Webster, and I'm researching music streaming services and their use of algorithmic recommendation technologies. So the first part of my research is looking at how these systems and these companies are situated in the marketplace, what these technologies are actually doing and how they work. And the second half of my research is looking at consumers and what they do with these technologies and what effects they are actually having on consumption practices and tastes. I think that my research is important because it speaks to some of the new trends in technology and music consumption and how these technologies are intervening in these processes of taste formation, which are important for social connections and divisions in society. And we're seeing these technologies come along which have the potential to shape taste in a greater rate and scale than previously encountered.
My name's Alison Knight. I'm a lawyer turned web scientist. I'm looking at the very concept of personal data under data protection law. I'm looking at the fact that it's based upon a model of whether you're identified or identifiable from data. What does that mean? Is that model fit for purpose nowadays? Why is it important? Because we all need to know whether we have some control under data protection law in terms of things like our IP address, in terms of other online identifiers, and because there's going to be lots more data relating to us out there in the future with the Internet of Things and this explosion of big data trends.
Good morning. Can we ask who you are and what your research is about?
I'm E.A. Draffen and I work on digital accessibility, disabilities, assistive technology across the whole spectrum of disabilities, and I'm most interested in how we can make teaching and learning inclusive. And recently we've just been developing a MOOC, which is now out this week, working hard on the subject of digital accessibility. We hope to expand that to another MOOC that will look at learning and teaching in the environment to encourage people to have an inclusive environment to their teaching. And then the other subjects that we're doing are about localization and globalization of technologies for those with disabilities.
That sounds amazing. Why is globalization and localization so particularly important?
Particularly because we find that the cultures and the local settings very often differ widely across the world, and no one is actually looking so carefully at this aspect. We're very keen to globalize everything and make it Western, possibly, even American. And so you have a Microsoft setting, but actually some of the icons, some of the imagery, some of the types of things that are provided for users don't actually fit their culture. And so we've been looking at that aspect of technology, in particular for those with disabilities and cognitive impairments.
Wonderful. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, off we go for something that I hope will work. Hello.
Hi.
Visiting us from Skype. Who are you and what do you research?
My name is Caroline Halkrow and I'm researching into online-offline community.
And I think you've got a very interesting way of telling us about your research today.
I have written a song.
Can we hear it?
Okay, I'll sing it a cappella. Okay, here we go. It's called the Web Scientist Song, all right? Sir Tim wove a web across the wide world. We're held in Castle's network and Barabassi's power laws. We know the difference between correlation and cause. We're a close-knit community of web scientists. We originate research design in mixed methods with social theory to find out in what the web consists. Above all, as followers of Sir Tim Berners-Lee, Sir Nigel Shadbolt and Professor Dame Wendy Hall, we are cool with linked data and the socio-technical. They created the discipline to chart the rapidly changing global scene, to sharpen our vision, deepen the focus in our ecosystem of social machines. My PhD in web science has led me to model online-offline community. I call it Spence to rhyme with web science. 6 facets make simple sense: channels, entrepreneurship, exchange, network, settlement and proximity. The Southampton Web Science CDT would like to thank our pioneers of web history and celebrate our 10 years of fascinating, insightful, vital study.
Oh my gosh, Caroline, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Wow, well, that was amazing. And I hope you got an idea of how many different kinds of people are looking at different types of subjects for different reasons in web science today. And of all the people we've seen here, we're also looking at with security, cybercrime, gambling, networks. We've talked about MOOCs, we've talked about blue light issues, we talked about accessibility. There's really just a world of anywhere that society and web technologies intersect. That's where you'll find a web scientist. I hope you enjoy the rest of Web Science at 10.